like literally. Like Godfrey Higgins is one of my favorite historians, and he blows my mind with his information from the 1833. You know, so um, you know, just think about this. This is around the same time of Charles Colcock Jones, right? If you read Godfrey Higgins' books, Anaclypsis Volume 1 and Volume 2, and then read Colcock Jones' book, The Religious Instruction of Negroes and Other Works by him, you will see how the mentality was a lot different from one side of the world to the other. Like, seriously. Like, a lot of people like to base a lot of slavery and all this other stuff on one side, but they don't really read these texts from these people from that time frame. Like I'm telling you, like,
This is Charles Colcock Jones Sr., correct?
well, in the book they call him Jones Charles Colcock, but I think like on other websites they add the senior part in there. If I'm not on it,
Okay,
because I think his dad was like John Jones Jr. If I remember that correctly. Because I just had it up, but I closed it out.
okay, because
Yeah,
I get the confusion when I'm looking up, and he's just
yeah.
he's
Because
so well known in Georgia.
well, it's funny. A lot of people here don't know who he is,
Really,
except that they go to that museum and probably the
he
you know
changed
this
so
mother.
many people's lives, especially black
He did.
lives.
He did. He and I'll go into all the stuff that he talked about and what he did and how he worked everything because he actually had a plantation too. He December 20th, 18 wait, hold on, let's see. Yeah, 18. Yeah, it says plant and okay, yeah, December. Yeah, it does say Charles Colcock Jones Sr. here. On one page it
Okay, I
just
just wanted
says
to make
the and
sure
the other one
that
doesn't. Yeah.
we're looking at the same person because there could be a son.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then
yeah.
there could be the son could be the senior, and then the junior would be
No, I think
their
his dad
son.
was like Johns Jones Jr. I think his dad was like Johns Jones Jr. Hold on.
The, it could be it could be a reverse Uno.
No, no, no. It confused me when I first learned about it too.
Yeah.
It really did. I mean, because it says right here, December 20th,
There's a
1804.
because
And
there's
then it
another
says,
book just like this, but it's written and it's with senior, but it's a different title, but closely to this one.
no, what I'm saying is that on each page, I'm looking at page 14, 15, 16, 17. It gives you the whole idea of who he is.
Gotcha.
Like, let me see. It says Charles Colcock Jr.
This is for you guys that are watching. Maybe you're confused too. Which book is which is when you're
No, no,
looking it
it's
up.
this. It's
No,
well,
no, but
it's
when I
the
was
book.
looking up books, that's why I got confused with the author. There's an author with senior on it, and then
Yeah, he
there's
is a senior. I'm just saying
okay.
that it might not say it on each one because this book here is a composition of all his of one of that book and his other works. So when you go to different pages, it says one will say junior or one will say senior or one would just say without the senior. But I just look at the birth date, December 20th, 1804.
Oh, he's the Reverend Charles Colcock
Yeah,
Jones. So
yeah,
he's
yeah. This book here
he
is not his
teaches
book.
Christianity. So
Yeah, this is not his book. Let me see if I can find. Uh, uh I'll have to go
I
through
was just
archives.
looking up. It's Making a Negro Christian. Is his book.
No, that is Kamua Makasai Tahuti. That's the guy right on the bottom, the Kamau. He's the author of this book
Okay. No, no, no.
because he.
The one I'm telling you right now, he has a book called Making a Negro Christian. Charles Colcutt Jones Sr. I'm looking at his book right now in Amazon Prime.
Oh, okay. I got you. I got you. I got you. I got you. Yeah, yeah.
They're so closely related to the titles are so almost
No,
immaculate close.
no. It's if it says Reverend Colcock Jones Senior on it, that's him.
Yep.
Some of
Yep.
them say. Some of them say. That's why I say I just look at the birthday because it should just say the birth date on there.
1804 to
Yeah,
1863.
December 20th. Yep.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Well, they
Yeah.
don't say the month, but they just say the years on
Yeah,
there.
it's March. Well, in her book, in the book is March. No, wait.
The
This
book is a
20th. I'm sorry.
deeply
It's December. I'm
insightful
sorry.
book
He
with a
died. He died.
lasting legacy.
He died in March and was born in December. So yeah. So let me
It
see.
blows me away that they don't have that many people buying this book. I guess we're going to be pushing that. I mean,
Well, his book, or are you talking about this guy's book? I
well,
didn't. I
both. I think
yeah.
both should be of interest because this is of historical nature, and both connected to Charles Colcutt Jones Sr. as well. In conclusion of this book, I'm sure that he read um, this book before he wrote his as well. Maybe he
Well,
made amendments to it.
I have his book. I have Charles Colcock Jones' book on PDF on my Kindle. I was saying that before. I have it on my Kindle. I bought this book first because this is the book that got me interested in it. And then, of course, I went online and looked at the archive and see if they had a free version of it. So I got that version on my Kindle. And then they sell his version at the museum. I'm not gonna go buy I'm not gonna
Oh,
buy
okay. So this book
it.
says that the one he wrote was a plantation owner, slave master, and a minister of the Presbyterian Church. And so
hmm
that's his total. Wow, this tells you a lot in detail about the past and when slavery was legal within this in Georgia, correct? In
Yeah,
that
this is
time frame.
yeah, it's
Or maybe he's talking about mostly his parents.
cause see, I was saying before you started, you could tell that this book was photocopied. Let me see.
Oh yeah, I mean, what's gonna survive? You remember there was a lot of book burning going on back in the day. So good thing it did survive.
No, I was just was saying because this book has all of it in there. It's just copied. So it's not even he doesn't even type it out. It's just copied. So it looks really deteriorated. So I guess it's straight from the
Oh,
thing. So yeah.
wow.
So I mean you can still read it. It's just not as good. So let's see. Let me find a tab that I can
Can
go
you
to.
imagine digging just to find out if the church went through so much, such as someone, um, vandalizing the church in such a horrific way where the books itself was almost destroyed and then it survived
Yeah.
or something happened. I mean, there's always some kind of backstory to how that book survived throughout the ages, and we're able to talk about it right now.
Yep. So here's a tab right here. It says they are greatly wanting in natural affection and provident without understanding and grossly immoral. Chastity is an exceeding rare virtue. Polygamy is common and there is little let's see. I showed you how bad it was, right?
Hmm?
Yeah, chastity is exceeding rare virtue. Polygamy is common, and there is little sacredness attached to the marriage contract. It is
What is
intimate.
polygamy? For those that are watching right now, do
That's
you
just
know what
having multiple
polygamy is?
wives. Yeah, just having multiple wives
Having
or
multiple
husbands.
wives, that's what polygamy
Yeah.
means.
Let's see, and then let's see. It is entered in for the most part without established forms and is dissolved at the will of the parties, nor is there any sacredness attached to the Sabbath. It is a day of idleness and sleep, of sinful amusements, of visiting, or of labor. They are
Yeah.
generally temperate through necessity. When ardent spirit can be obtained, they will freely drink it. Numbers of them do not go to church and cannot tell us who Jesus is, nor have they ever heard so much as the Ten Commandments read and explained. Of the professors of religion among them, there are many of questionable piety who occasion the different churches great trouble and discipline, for they are extremely ignorant and frequently are guilty of the grossest vices. We cannot go more fully into the moral condition of these people at present, indeed it is necessary. Generally speaking, they appear to us to be without hope and without God in the world, a nation of heathen in our very midst. And if we will believe the testimony of our own eyes and ears and the testimony of those who know these people most intimately, we must conclude they need the gospel and need it as much as any people in the world do. So that just tells you why he started that. Like that was his address.
And for us to even visit that, and I was going to bring that up while you're reading, I didn't want to disturb you. How was the cultural, not religion, but the cultures in Africa, East Africa, and the different parts of Africa? If we look at them today, um, is polygamy accepted within their cultures? Like the husband can have multiple girlfriends, or they don't accept the fact that the husband should have multiple girlfriends, but they don't have an issue with it as long as the husband provides.
I mean, we can just go back to the biblical text.
No, I meant they're
I know,
not
I
even
know.
Christian. They're not even Christian.
I know, but we go back to if we go back to the biblical
Africans.
text, they weren't even Christian either. You see what I'm saying? So that Christianity changed that.
Yes, that's why I'm trying to get at is that the necessity.
And it wasn't that they could. It wasn't no issue if it was done. It was up to the people who were involved. It was nobody's business. But then Christianity came along, of course, and they put some ground rules on that. But when you read the Old Testament, you can definitely read about polygamy in there. Some of the founders of Abrahamic faith had practiced polygamy.
And the Western world, like we're talking about Europe, they would call people savages because they would not be just like them. So if you're not like the Western world, you'd be literally marked as a savage.
The Greeks called everybody barbarians that weren't Greeks. So everybody was a barbarian.
You're a barbarian. That was a bad word. You're a barbarian, and like that's horrible. You don't be called a barbarian. That's worse than
barbarians, savages, everything. Yeah. If you was everything,
you don't want to be marked
Greek.
with that.
Yeah.
Let's hire some barbarians to destroy this.
But that's a good point that you bring up, because this actual tab goes with what you say, and it's pretty short. It says they are an ignorant and wicked people from the oldest to the youngest. Hence, instruction should be committed to them and communicated intelligibly, and that it may be impressed upon their memories in good order, promoted amongst them. It should be communicated frequently and stated as intervals of time. So basically, they just thought they were wicked and ignorant people. But wicked and ignorant of what? You know what I mean? This is at a time. This is a time.
To what? Compared
that's
to
what I'm saying. This is a time that they were lynching people and hanging people and selling people. So compared to what
this is not my opinion. This is not my opinion. This is backed on religious.
This is evidence.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So for him to say wicked and ignorant people, first of all, you call them wicked, but what are you comparing them wicked to? Because are they going around capturing people, putting them on boats and putting them across the ocean and then chaining them up and all this?
Isn't that wicked?
Isn't
that wicked? That's wicked. That's treating humans like that. That's wicked, right?
Nah. I know
not wicked good. That's wicked bad.
A lot of people would talk. Let's talk about slavery real quick, because this is what this book's about getting slaves to become Christian. A lot of people say slavery was all over the world. Yes, that's 100% true. Yes, Africans had slaves too, but it was different types of slaves. See, this is what a lot of people don't understand. And this is just Yoruba culture that I've learned, because I found out that I have Nigerian, so I did my research on the Yoruba culture.
Minus out the tribes that were meant to die too because of war. Instead, they sold them off to slavery as well.
Or they were captured. Or they were captured, or they stole something from somebody, so they had to work it off.
But I'm talking about the two warring factions in Africa, and they found value into selling them off so they can have some Western goods.
Yeah, that
Common.
and that yeah, I was going to explain that. So it started off as okay. First, it started off as okay.
Black
If you
people
owe
selling
me
black
money,
people.
no, if you needed money for something, you would have worked for me. That would be considered a type of slave. Okay, and then you would pay off your debt and you will leave. Or if you have it good and you felt like you had it good, then you would just stay the slave, right? Then it started turning into where they started having wars, territorial wars, and you can see that all the way, not just in Africa, but you can see that everywhere. Even at some point, the indigenous Native Americans also had these types of certain battles, but it was more of a respectful type of battle. Like they knew there was rules, like real rules at one time, and then after a while, when trade got more important and people wanted to be greedy and have more things started getting more vicious. So yeah, everybody had slavery, but it was different. It wasn't like the African slaves weren't the same way as the transatlantic slaves, where the European or American, the white Americans were hanging people or cutting off their foot or their hands because they didn't meet their quota on their cotton picking or sugar cane picking and stuff like that. You see what I'm saying? And that stuff is in records. I mean, we have records here. I remember when I was in history class here in school, my teacher, Mr. Lewis, he was a white guy. He was telling us, he was from Florida. He was telling us about how there's history. He was a big history buff. He was telling us, I think he was from Florida or somewhere around there. I'm not sure. Or one of them. Anyway, he was telling us something about that they were throwing black babies in the rivers in Jacksonville. So, and they have books on this. So this is stuff. I mean, if you know about Lake Lanier in Georgia, how they flooded out the black people there to get them out because a crime that may have or may not happen. I don't know the details on it because everybody's on back and forth. But the point is one person caused many people to get in trouble, to be on the back burner of dying and all this other stuff, being less than a human and all this. And it's just crazy. Look into that. But the point is that there's this history in slavery that people believe that here in America, it just didn't happen here. It happened everywhere. And it did, but it wasn't the same. It wasn't the same. Like the stuff that happened here is crazy. Like, I mean, and it's not just the slavery that affected people. It was after when they started to after the Civil War and all that other stuff, when slaves were free, when Abraham Lincoln made the slaves free, it was the people in the establishment and the companies and everybody that was involved made it harder for black people to do anything. So some black people had to go back to working at the same plantations that they were once a slave and then became free on because they couldn't go anywhere else. You know what I mean? Some people couldn't buy houses and, live on certain properties without certain things happening to them and stuff like that. So this whole world was, has a history of slavery. It's just here what we know now is crazy. And not only that, a lot of people would talk about what happened to the Jewish people in the Holocaust. I told you I'm German, but did you know that there was also a time, and I have the book in my Amazon cart. I can't remember what it's called, but it's about killing off a lot of black people in that area also, just like they did with the Jewish people before the Jewish Holocaust.
Yep.
So that's something I'm going to look into and get more information on because everybody's like, oh, you guys, everybody that's black trying to make everything Afrocentric. Yo, this is history. You too busy arguing online, fighting with each other, trying to put each other down. And all you got to do is just pick up a book. As much time you do that arguing and bullshitting, you should be picking up a book and reading, right? Or doubling it up. Because a lot of this information is in the books. And then it's interesting because everybody believes that they should share the same thing. No, this is something different. I literally wanted to learn about this book because I live in this community. So now when I look around at all these churches, I see Dr. Reverend Charles Colcock Jones. All these Baptist church, these African-American churches, I see him in it because he is the reason why Black people, or one of the reasons why, and he pushed for it. I mean, in the book it says it says that we would wish then to communicate in religious instructions to all our servants intelligibly, frequently, and steadily. So he's saying that he wants to, everybody should have this, and he wants to share this knowledge to everybody. Then look, this is another tab. The consequence is they do not seem worthy of our regard. They lose our respect, and it is no marvel if our conduct towards them is dictated by our opinion of them. Planters would generally confess the management of them is not only attached with trouble and vexation, but with provocations to sin and the demoralizing influence which they exert over children and youth when they are permitted to associate much with them is well known to us all. In fine, the influence of the Negroes on the morals of our white population is exceedingly pernicious. Now, this is interesting. Now look at 2026. You can't find you won't find a culture out there that doesn't mimic something of African American culture, with the hip hop, with the baggy clothes, the talking, the rapping. You know what I'm saying? You see that all around. And what I mean by African American culture is that I mean that the African American culture, they fought for so much, and they fought for everybody too. Even when the Asians had their troubles with certain law enforcement, the African American team, different teams came out to different places to help them. Some good, some bad, of course. That's how it goes. But when it comes to change, of course, it took, a white guy to say, hey, we tell the other white guys this ain't good, because they weren't going to listen to a black guy anyway. So that's why a lot of, white Americans, they'll say, nobody thanks the white Americans for helping in slavery. Well, why would they think something that you started? That don't make no damn sense. You started it, so why in the hell would they thank you for ending it? That don't make no damn sense. That never made.
They're not going to thank you for starting it, right?
Yeah. I'm serious.
I mean, they're going to be always upset for it even being started.
No, it's seriously funny, because I hear that all the time. I see it all the time, and I don't know why the algorithm does it, because I don't look for race stuff. I don't look for politics or none of that stuff.
Oh.
But it always pops on my feed, and when I see it, I do react to it. It's social media. Why wouldn't I? You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I want to react to it. I mean, I have the opportunity to. Why not? Right? I mean,
you consider yourself a black man, so it's like it's directed towards you.
Yeah, exactly. Right? And I'm like, why is it showing up? So I have to make
advertising.
It known. Yeah, so I'm making it known, like this ain't right.
Maybe because you're on camera and AI goes, oh, this guy right here.
Bro, I've literally I can, like, when you made that comment earlier about there must be some sick people out there, bro. I literally I told you I was with the Occult Rejects. I was with Mike and Dave, which is now Dave's Multiverse. I'm telling you, there's a dude on there that literally invited me to a space where these dudes said they wanted to kill me just because I was black. I am not kidding. I still have the recording. And the only reason why I don't talk to any of those other people in there is because when I told them about it,
you can't be the only one. They probably thinking of every culture.
But see, this is the one
culture that they're part of.
I do want to make this clear. He didn't say nothing directly, because he was in the Occult Rejects also. He didn't say nothing directly. What he did was he invited me to a group that he already knew that was like that. Meaning that if this was to be physical, meaning that we were in the car, he told me, hey, let's go to my friend's house. He invites me to the house, and they all jump in and say, oh, why you bring this in here? You know what I mean? And he just sits there, right? He brought me to that environment to see that. So even when you try to avoid it, even the people that you're cool with, that you think you're cool with, that you have a podcast, because I was with the Occult Rejects. It was like 12 people.
To experience it, I guess.
Yeah, to invite somebody that this was he was known to do that. He was
the horror
known to
fest. Now you're part of a horror film now? Jesus Christ.
So I'm just like, so I've experienced mine. So I can tell you here in 2026, I can tell you the way some of these people thought back then, they still think today. The whole thing with Helen and Troy.
More so, yeah.
The
No.
whole thing with Helen and Troy, there are so many different translations of the word. And everybody will either say the word white armed or fair skinned. Well, if you look at the word fair, the etymology, the origin of the word, the etymological word, it just means something that's pleasing to the eye.
And
Now,
the thing
white
is,
armed.
this is taught.
No,
This is
hold up,
not something you're born with either.
hold up. This is why I get people. This is why I try to understand people. If you're saying that Helen is white because they call her white armed, then there's nothing wrong with anybody, including me, saying that the Sumerians were black people from Africa, because what are they known? The black-headed people. So you can't have your cake and eat it too. Okay? And it ain't your birthday.
But these people don't care about that. They
but
don't
that's
care
what I'm
about
saying.
history.
That's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying. I can't say specifically that the Sumerians were black. All I know is that their haplogroup comes from Africa. They traveled from different places. Nobody really knows who they were. And I also know that they weren't the first people to settle that land. So it could have been anybody. But if you're going to tell me as a historian, which I've seen all these historians talk about, oh, Helena, oh, I don't want to see that movie because Helen in that movie is black. And they say she's white armed and fair. And I'm like, okay, if that's the case, why are you getting mad at me when I say that the Sumerians are black people? Because you're saying that it's white armed, black-headed. You're using one part of the body to identify the whole body as being that color, or are you just picking and choosing what makes you feel good because you want to feel like you think you know something? I come with ammunition when I talk about something.
They look for middle ground and say, oh, they're just caramel color.
But that's what I'm saying. And
color.
You have no idea how many times I've heard people say that there are white Africans. And they'll say that Elon Musk is because he was born in South Africa. Well,
a cultural appropriation.
It's just crazy because the way that these people at this time frame, these slave owners thought of slaves, and they were the ones that were hanging, lynching, taking advantage of women in front of their husbands, doing the husbands in front of the men, or the husbands in front of the women, like as far as, hurting them and stuff like that. Like this is stuff that is in the text. This is not something I have to go out and be like, oh, why are they hiding this? This is not hidden. There's literally a museum that has this book right in there, his original book in there. So in his gravesite, we're going to play the video of his gravesite. So this is just interesting to me.
I look forward to that.
And then to say they lose all our respect, as saying that you think black people, slaves, should respect you while you're owning them, selling their children. They have kids and then you sell their kids to the next door neighbor. You just read where they permitted the opportunity for the adults to go see the children that they were scared that they was going to give influence to them. So they definitely didn't want that influence on their white kids. So that was just so interesting that this is part of our history. And a lot of people would say, that stuff doesn't affect people now. I can tell you right now, I grew up in the 80s, bro. I can't tell you how much I've experienced racism in my lifetime. Hell, when I was in combat, I had people call me the N-word. And it wasn't the Iraqis. It was my fellow comrades. Because they was mad. Because they got mad about something. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. I've heard them call the Afghani sand ends. I'm like, what kind of shit is that to say? You know what I'm saying?
Today we're bordering
but then when you get angry, raise your fist or something, they say words shouldn't hurt you. Okay. We know words hurt people. I don't care what anybody say. Yeah. Words hurt people. That's why there are so many messed up people in this world right now.
There's a guy in jail for that right now.
But words hurt people. People can put on this tank suit all they want and be like, words don't hurt me. Yeah, they do. Everybody gets hurt by some type of word. That's human nature.
Even though they say freedom of speech, that's not right.
No, because look, there's been people on X who made fun of people who have cancer. So imagine you having a family member and passing away to cancer. They come running up to you. Oh, your mom,
my
your
mom,
dad,
rest in peace.
Exactly. They come up to you yelling at you. You're going to get pissed. You can only hold yourself but so much. If they running up to you talking about that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when people sit here and say words don't hurt, yeah, they do. Words hurt a lot of people. There are people in jail right now, in prison for years right now because somebody said a word. So all that words don't hurt. Yes, it does. It depends on what nerve you're going to hit with those words. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people don't really understand that. And they say that because they want to have an excuse to say what they want to say to somebody. They don't want to have to be obligated to feel bad for what they're saying. Why do you want to hurt somebody in the first place? Why do you want to go walk up to somebody and say stupid stuff in the
Well,
first
don't go
place?
too far, because in the military you have certain people as well that act like that.
No, but
They're young and they think like that.
that's why I'm saying when I was in Afghanistan and Iraq, I've heard people say that. That's what I'm saying is that my point is that people go around and say words don't hurt. Yes, it does. It does. It just depends what it is. Like if I'm a combat wounded veteran. I'm a survivor of four other guys. Okay, I get survivals get all the time. Imagine somebody just started coming up to me yelling, "Oh, your guy, you should have died with your guys, or your guys died," and da 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 da. Start off saying that will hurt some people.
Yeah,
that takes people time to
really
process, to
hurtful.
understand, to know that it's not survival.
I mean, that drives a person into depression.
Yeah, so that's
Makes you second think your life.
That's what I'm saying. So
that's like saying, I want you to die. I mean, you should have been dead. I want you dead right now.
Imagine at your lowest point.
You shouldn't have lived. That's the same thing. They might as well just come out and say it straight in your face instead of just skirting around it.
But just think about it. You at your lowest point in your life, and somebody comes over there and just starts hounding you on everything. That drives people insane. And if you're privileged enough to know that you haven't had anything affect you in life where words really don't hurt you, then you're a very lucky person.
Rest in peace to all the veterans out there.
Exactly. I know a lot of veterans. I've seen plenty. I used to go
brothers and sisters are no longer here.
I used to go to the VA meetings, and there was a couple of guys in there. Man, they would argue because some people would say, why is that bothering you? And I'm like, yo, you telling this dude who been to Vietnam, why is this bothering him? Oh, this is going to be a show right here. And you can see people, and it's different because it's funny because I've learned being a combat wounded veteran. People come up to me and find out that I have a Purple Heart. They always give me this story about how they almost got a Purple Heart. And I'm just like, okay, now we're going to go down this story. I've had people come up to me. I used to wear a Purple Heart hat. People used to say, oh, congratulations for your Purple Heart. I'm like, what the hell kind of shit is that to tell some congratulations? Like, that ain't something to congratulate. I mean, it's good I'm alive, but it ain't that's like congratulations.
Yeah, I gave up on wearing hats and all that stuff. So, I mean, I tried to avoid it altogether. I mean, even Memorial Day, I try not even go out. Or I used to go to the parades, and after they over here in Virginia Beach, they had Confederates in the parade shooting muskets, and it make me jump every single time they shooting muskets. I'm like, and it's Confederates, and on top of that, with the General Lee flag and shit like that. I'm like, they didn't even have the General Lee flag.
I just noticed this book is like in 4 different prints. That's why I'm having a hard time reading it. I'm thinking like, man, maybe it's my eyes because I'm waiting for some glasses to come in, but it is definitely different fonts. It's different fonts. That's why
they got different fonts in them.
Yeah, because you could tell like this one is really small because you could tell, like I said, you could tell that he copied it.
Yeah, you're pretty much the codex,
So
you're translating whatever he wrote or he posted in there. That's crazy that you put that together like that.
This is the next tab. Every owner of slaves has an account to render to God for his treatment of them. So basically saying that however you treat your slaves is how God's going to look at you, basically, right? So he was putting people in front of God's eyes saying, look, you keep beating these people up like this and taking advantage of them, God's going to send you somewhere you don't want to go. And he goes on to say, oh, how fearful will be his account who knowingly and willfully will permit them to go down his fields and from his very dwelling into the bottomless pit without making a solitary effort to save them. He that ears to hear, let him hear. So that's just a quote that he was trying to say. But yeah, that's one quote here. Let's go to the next one. This isn't part of it.
Well, his job, and if I'm not mistaken, as a plantation slave master, was to maintain the slaves, make sure they get the medical, the food, and the housing, everything, the clothing, everything set up, and then also on top of that, religious or cultural, religious, whatever the master is asking them to make sure that there's law and order within the black African community that is on the plantation. Am I correct on saying that
Well, uh,
throughout all your reading?
well, just from my reading, I just know that he was sharing his information not just on his plantation, but throughout the South. Period. Like he worked in South Carolina, I believe, too. Let me make sure.
Uh, So he was sold to another plantation
Who?
to work. I mean, Charles Cocott Jones
Yeah.
or his father.
What? He wasn't a
Uh,
slave.
no, oh, he wasn't a slave master.
No, he was the slave master. Who you said?
Yeah,
You
he was
said
a
some.
slave master. But aren't slave masters sold to plantations,
No,
or are they
slave masters have slave plantations.
okay? All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Well,
yeah. Slave.
what you
I'm
reading?
sorry, I'm ignorant on that. So
Oh, I was going
I'm
to
just
ask. What
I'm
was
ju-
you?
I'm just trying to learn more about it because I don't know a lot about
So
it.
so
So.
so your question is slave. You asking about um uh who owns plantations?
Yeah, 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 yeah. So
Colcock Jones owned plantations.
yeah, so he owned plantations. He
Yeah.
was a black man, right?
No, he's white.
Oh, he was white. Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought he was a black man. So
No.
I thought he was I thought this whole thing was a turn event because they showed a black person on the front of the book.
Show me the book. Bring it up. Let me look at it.
Uh yeah, it's there's a book that is
It
on
might be this guy right here that you're talking about. It just might be just a different cover. I know this is an old cover. I bought this book years ago. I don't
yeah, I
even know how
mean,
long.
it threw me off. The picture threw me off. My apologies on this to everybody.
No, let's see what you're talking about because other people might run through the same thing. Because, like I
No,
said, this isn't his book. This isn't Reverend Charles Colcock Jones' book. This is just the book that I've learned from him.
so this one I ran into is in Amazon Prime.
Oh, let me see. Hold on. Let me... Yeah, that's the reprint.
Yeah, I thought that was the author.
So
You know how authors
what's
put
the
their
author's
pictures
name?
in the front?
What's the author's name on here?
Charles Colcock Jr. Sr. right there. That's the author.
No, who's that on the picture though?
I don't know. That's what I thought. I thought it was the author. That threw me off. I mean, maybe I need to look in the back. Hold on. Let me look at the. Okay, that's probably him right there. I need to
No,
click on the
that's
other
got the
page.
author. He might have put somebody else's picture on the front.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So this must be the author right here. So that must be the
Oh,
guy himself.
so he made differently. So what he okay? So okay, I see what's I see what's happening. I see what's happening.
That's the
So
author.
so you wasn't here in the beginning. So when I was live, what I was explaining was that this book is in the archive.gov website. I think it's archive. Let me type it in. Yes, archive.gov where you can get free books and stuff, right? And you can actually get a lot of free stuff in there. Videos, images, all kinds of stuff. But since it's available online to everybody in the free domain, to everybody to be able to download and read it, you as a person can take everything in that book and reprint it yourself with your own commentary and analysis. I actually have a lot of books that's like that, where I can read the whole complete book because it's under the fair uses, meaning that I'm allowed to do more than comment or review on it. So yeah, that book, that dude right there just puts. I don't know why he put that person on that book, but so
I don't know either.
that you see how you okay. So you see how this book right here is that. What was the author's name on that book?
That's him. That's the author.
Charles Colcock Jones.
Yeah, it's yeah, senior. That's him. He has
Yeah.
a bunch of books too. When I click on his name, he has the making of Negro. Well, there, that's the main one. Then the Gulag for Tales from the Georgia Coast, Antiquities of Southern Indians, particularly of the Georgia tribes. Charles Colcott Jones, The Dead Towns of Georgia, Negro Myths from the Georgia Coast.
Man, that's
Charles
interesting. I'm gonna have to go to Amazon and see that
The
because
Siege of Savannah in 1779. That he
that's
wrote
actually,
all these. The History of Georgia, he wrote that too. He has a lot of books.
okay. So the one, okay, I see which one you're looking at. Okay, let's see.
It's my fault to all the listeners that I didn't find an actual picture of him. I saw the first book. I said, "Oh, that's the author." I thought he was black, and he's not black. He's a white man. So I apologize. I was thinking, "Wow, what a twist to turn! It's a black man that owns Negroes." That is something else, you know. That's gonna be
Yeah,
big, yeah, but it's not.
If you look on there on the bottom, right when you read the little first paragraph, it says retitled and reprinted as Making a Negro Christian. So that's why I was telling people earlier that, like, with all these books, like you, like anybody.
So
if
is Camus just taking pieces and parts of?
No, he has
book?
the whole book in there. He has this whole book in there. If you look at how many pages is in here, let's see.
Because is he just taking parts and pieces of other books and just coming up with his own how he feels about how Negro Christians were made?
No, this is straight from Colcott Jones' book. So that's why I was telling you, it looks like he took the book, photocopied it, because like I said, anybody can go get Colcott's books for free online right now, and you can literally excuse me.
Well, they're selling it for $3.99.
But what I'm saying is, you can get it for free, and they're selling it because other people are reprinting it. That's what I'm trying to tell you, is that when you get
actually in Kindle, it's $3.99. Paperback is $9.99.
If you go on archive.gov, right. If you go to archive.gov, and every book that's in the domain, and I have a free books in my library.
You're pretty much paying for the ink.
No, you're paying somebody else for no reason.
Oh, gotcha. So the family doesn't receive the money?
No, because it's in the domain. It's free. After a certain amount of years, everything's for free.
Somebody's making money.
Yeah, anybody that wants to make money off of him. Your work is not your work forever, bro.
That's freaking wild. I never knew that.
I think it's like after 75 years or 70 years or something like that. I can't remember.
There are some people that are
like
just taking other people's work and throwing it on Amazon and just making little bit of money here and there.
Yeah, I can take his book, and I like I said, I have a few books in my library.
No idea.
I can rewrite. I can take the book, photocopy it, and print it, and under my name and everything, and make money.
Bro, that's book slavery.
That's a good one.
That's fun. That is, bro. That's blowing my mind right now. I'm like thinking about all the books I've ever bought. I just want to free those books now. I'm like, let's go to Congress right now and free those books from those people that are just making money off of it, and give the money to the rightful people, because that's just wrong.
Okay, here's another tab. Some owners, forgetful of God and eternity, treat their people too much as creatures of profit. They locate them any and everywhere without it. It would seem the least reference to their eternal well-being. We know that men of no religion do this even with their own families, but Christian men should endeavor to do better. So he's saying that Christian men are doing the same crazy stuff that others are doing. Some owners live in the enjoyment of every religious privilege, nay, more, removed from their plantations for the express purpose of enjoying those privileges, while their people are left in entire destination from year to year. Many have large incomes and never expend 1 cent directly for their religious instruction of their people. He who is in the providence of God, called to be a master in the flesh, should acquaint himself with his duties and responsibilities, taking the word rights are founded upon discharge of his duties. And one of the first duties is to remember that his servants are immortal beings. His servants are immortal beings, and to the best of his ability and opportunity as should provide for their religious instruction. So basically, the same religion. He's basically saying that these Christian men need to stop being hypocrites and do the right thing and do better, and that everybody has basically the opportunity to learn about Jesus Christ. The next tab.
Can I translate that? The book
Yeah.
as a historical window into how the Christian religion was intentionally adapted, filtered, and used as a tool for psychological and social control during the era of American slavery. Does that help?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure people get on the right page on this.
Yeah. It's funny because, like I said, you can buy Reverend Cole Cox Jones' book, but it's going to be a reprint of the original. I think the museum actually has the original up there. I didn't buy the reprint because everybody on Amazon is reprinting it. I just bought this one. I think this one was only like, let me see. Well, this one was $24.95. But I bought this like years and years ago. So I'll tell you, going to look for this book, the only thing I can say is look up Reverend Charles Cole Cox Jones. That's all you need to really look up, and you can get the PDF form. They have all the stuff available online for everybody. Everybody else is just making money off of him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I wanted to share one other thing over here. I think this is it right here.
Yeah, we got 2 more tabs, and then we're gonna play that video.
Oh, I mean, this is what Cole Cox Jr. Senior was sharing in his book, and this is the religious instructions of Negroes in the United States, and this is supposedly is by Charles C. Jones. Is basically it's marked Savannah, published by Thomas, 1842. The religious instruction of the Negroes in the United States, or Charles C. Jones, Savannah, published by there it is. The preparation of the following pages have been undertaken at suggestions of friends, second in the convictions of my own mind that a small volume of the religious instruction of the Negroes in the United States would not be unacceptable offering in the public. That's crazy. And these are like a whole set instructions too, like rules and regulations. I don't know if you want to show this or not. I'm sharing it, but this is like straight up organized, or it's organized.
Yeah.
Like this is organized for all white Americans to follow these instructions, especially, and if slavery was legalized, this would probably have been pushed, this is how organized they were. This wasn't like something off the top of their dome, like, oh, we're going to do whatever we want. No, that they were ready to pull out with, a lot of paperwork, laws, regulations. It was so organized that Black people were going to be in this endless loop of slavery, and in life as we know it would be completely different. So,
oh shit,
it's crazy.
Tab just fell out.
Oh no.
Oh, it's right here. All right, got it. So yeah, the reason why so I named this title Apostle Charles Cole Cox Jones, and the reason why is because when I learned that from this book, they considered him the apostle to the Blacks. Literally, it's in this book. So when I said that we had 2 more tabs left over, it wasn't anything from Cole Cox Jones. It was just commentary from the guy. I don't really want to go over the commentary because it's just his opinion, and I don't like going over opinions.
Yeah, I was asking about that because it looks like he was pulling from different parts of it, and then he added his opinion on the thoughts of how he felt about what this man that
he has the whole book in here. Yeah, he has the whole book in here.
Yeah.
He has the whole book in here, and because he got the religious instruction of the Negroes in the southern states, and then he has an appendix. Um,
This guy was no joke, man. He wrote a whole bunch of regulations and laws that take away a lot of amendment rights from Black Americans. This is not this is long. Let me show you how long this thing is. This is what happens when white people take away somebody's rights. I'm sorry for saying white people. When people that are racist take away a human rights. Look at this. This person took his time to write a bunch of laws and regulations.
yeah,
And look at this. And it was backed by a judge. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying. With Charles Colcock Jones was he was okay with slavery. He just wasn't okay with the treatment of the people.
this was really long, dude. I can't go through all this. This is and it's written so perfectly that there's no loopholes almost. I mean, there may be, but this is like yeah, it's
Do me a favor, hit Control F. I want to see something. I want to pick a part real quick. Hold on.
Go for it.
Let me see. Hold on. Type this in. They are an ignorant, and then hit enter. They are.
They are ignorant. Yeah.
And then hit nothing.
No.
And ignorant are an ignorant. It's an after.
How about we type in ignorant only? Yeah. There we go. What kind of ministers are needed? Not ignorant, but educated and intelligent ministers.
Yeah, hit it again. Go to the arrows. Yeah, there you
go. They would not have it known what an ignorant and degraded race of operatives they are indebted by the comforts and conveniences of their lives as individuals and for whatever prosperity they enjoy as corporations or communities. Corporations or communities.
Next one.
So he's talking about, but when the charge of their intellectual and moral degradation is preferred against us, we are inclined to put the best face on affairs, knowing that this is the darkest feature and the most vulnerable point. We discover the feeling in the class of factory and landowners in England, whose statements on the moral conditions of their operatives. That's kind of wild. In the Free State schools are established in the city, supported chiefly as free schools for the education of Negro children in villages. Provision as also made for them and their employers teach them. A few pass through college. The professions open to them are medicine and divinity. The majority are ignorant of letters.
So a lot of them can't read is basically what they're saying. What he's saying.
Yeah.
Which we know that because they weren't. Some of them were given the opportunity, others weren't.
Houses of public worship and erected in the chief towns in the fee and slave states, where it may have access to a preached gospel in the free states for the use of the free Negroes. In the slave states, for the use of free Negroes and slaves, the officiating ministers, either white or colored, Negro seldom, if ever, that was a period, by the way. I'm sorry if I continue. Negro seldom, if ever, worship in the white churches of the free states. In the cities, for example, in Boston, Providence, they even knew which cities too. Like they were boots on the ground knowing all this stuff. Boston, Providence, New York, Philadelphia, they are in etc. They are not expected to do so, neither is it thought desirable by the people. So they were talking about the Sabbath day and Negro children and youth in the free states. It's there's a lot of things going on here that's militaristic when it comes to religion. But the Negroes are scrupulous on one point. They make common cause as servants in concealing their faults from their owners. Inquiry elicits, I'm sorry for not hitting the period, guys. Inquiry elicits no information. No one feels at liberty to disclose a transgressor. All are profoundly ignorant. The matter assumes the sacredness of a professional secret. I don't know what that is. What is professional secret, guys? For they remember that they may hereafter require the same concealment of their own transgressions from their fellow servants, and if they tell upon them now they may have the like. So so they tell on each other so they can be liked. Uncle Tom kind of thing. Is that what it is? Excuse me for saying that. Uncleanness. The sin may be considered universal. The declaration will be sufficient for those who have any acquaintance with this people. God, that's horrifying. With this people in the slaveholding states or in the free states, indeed, with the ignorant laboring classes of people wherever they may be found. So they're talking about white people being ignorant. It is not by object to institute comparisons. If it were, I could point to many tongues and people in civilized governments upon the same level of depravity and the Negroes. So he's just calling the white people ignorant on that one, saying that supporting black people as being free.
Yeah, there's a lot in there, man. I think everybody should read it. I think it's very interesting. Whether you
Profane
read,
swearing is not allowed. Back then, if you use profane swearing, you're considered ignorant, especially in religious such as Christianity. So if you start swearing in any way, you're ignorant automatically. I mean, if you start whooping people and treating them like savages, of course I'm going to be swearing.
yeah. So yeah, hold on. Let me pull up this. I'll pull up this video now.
I'd be very upset. I mean,
Let me get it.
sometimes people I try to say, and this is in the social sciences, and I say a certain culture, and let's just say the white culture in that time period that were racist, and I'm specifically talking about not all white cultures because there's a lot of white people around the world. I'm saying the racist culture, they force upon the savagery, so they can force upon these words on black people. So they let's say they whip them, they treat them like savages, and then they turn around and say they're so savage that they're ignorant. Well, if you treat them like that, they're going to be like that. That's simple as that. You treat a child like that, they're going to be like that. If you're going to raise your child like that, it doesn't matter what color your child is. You treat a child, you raise a child like that, you whoop your child all the time, you're going to hurt your child all the time. Yeah, your child's going to turn ignorant too. But if you educate your child won't be ignorant. You teach you raise your child won't be ignorant. This is in the social sciences. It's been proven through it. We have done a lot of tests on this stuff, and it's obvious that they maintain a status quo on black since they're children, to maintain them as ignorant so that they can control them. And it's a psychological warfare. And they did that on purpose because they were slave owners. And as you can see, the dangers were so great that they were aiming for a total control of slaves. If this civil war didn't happen, we would be in dire problems with minorities in America, and America would be a lot different than what we see today. All right, go ahead.
Yep. So we're almost done. We're gonna play this video. It's 11 minutes 30 seconds. I gotta give a shout out to Lil Vibe. Check him out on Spotify. Play a song of his. He just had a new track come out. I like it. I actually forgot the name of it. My bad on that. But his music's pretty dope. I like it. Enjoy it a lot.
Thank you, Little
play it a lot.
Vibe.
Yep. So check out his thing. It's right on the bottom. Visit Lil Vibe. But here's the video that I did.
Let's go.
I did. This is the video I did when I went to visit his gravesite. This is what I mean about being boots on ground. This is what I like to do. I have a whole playlist of this.
Looks like the one in Virginia Beach. I have one too, right next to the naval base.
This is the church that I was talking about earlier in one of my articles. When I was saying I was coming up here to Midway Museum. This was the church I was mentioning right here. It's a pretty nice looking church, if you ask me. But as I was coming here, the
first time. I came here because, like I said before, I was interested in Charles Pocock Jones and what he shared. And um, it was pretty interesting that he is known as the apostle to the blacks, like I said. So here's the church.
Sucks you can't go in it,
Of
man.
course, I probably can't go in there.
1792.
You got
I'm
the
sure the caretaker can go in there,
yes,
Yeah, I'm sure they can.
maintain it, clean it up, dust it. But I think it's too dangerous for
pretty
a
cool
large
group
group of
there.
people for going in and out.
Says
Insurance
Midway
reason.
Congregational Church, erected 1792, organized 1754 by descendants of an English colony which came first to Massachusetts 1630, to Connecticut 1635, to South Carolina 1695, and to Georgia 1752.
Big church, man.
Built on the same spot as the church which was burned by the British in 1778, this church has given to her country 86
That's the cemetery
ministers
right there.
of the
Man.
gospel and 7 foreign
I took that on that
missionaries.
side.
Midway in St. John's
Nice
Parish,
job.
now Liberty County, was the cradle of revolutionary spirit in Georgia, and two of her sons were signers of the Declaration of Independence. Placed by the Brunswick chapter, Daughters of the American Revolution and descendants of the Midway
Look, the
Colony,
Masonic Lodge.
1923.
How can you tell?
It's I had there was a plaque for it.
Oh, okay. So they're maintaining it, or they just
All right,
provide
so today
funding?
Yeah, I
I'm
don't know
here because of
anything
the simple
about it.
fact that I'm starting my
I got it on
documentary
my
and I'm
tripod.
putting all that on my Rumble account. That's going to be where most of my stuff is going to be more personal towards me. It's going to have a little sidebar stuff every now and then on there, of course, just to get it up and running. But right now, it's going to be me basically putting my documentary on there. And the reason why I'm here is because of this gentleman right here, Dr. Reverend Charles Pocock Jones. Now, this isn't his book that I'm holding in his hand. It's a
Looks a
reprinting
bit
of
younger
his
there.
book that he wrote. And the reason why I got this book is the reason why is because I read it from somewhere else. And I decided to get this one. I have read Dr. Reverend Charles Pocock Jones. I actually compared it just to make sure it was accurate. But this is the book right here.
Tell you, that's what that boots on
That's the
ground
book right
is.
there. This is the book right here.
Everyone is different.
This is the book right here. So this is a
That's how
reprinting of the
I
religious
messed up right
instruction
there.
of the
Whenever you see
Negroes and
those
other
little
works
things
by
right there,
Dr.
that's where I
Reverend
messed up.
Charles Pocock Jones. Like I said, I've read his previous stuff, but what's interesting in here that I found interesting from his work is that it
Wow.
says the consequence is they do not seem worthy of
Look
our
how
regard,
beautiful the area
our
is.
respect,
That's
and
why
it
I
is
did it
no
like that.
marvel if our conduct towards them is dictated by our opinion of them. So that's just something that he wrote in his book. And the reason why I'm here is because right across the other way is the cemetery. But it's his grave site, right? And it's just right over there. I'm gonna walk over there, take some pictures. And this is where it happened at. So let's take a look around. Nathan Brownson, Georgia, colonial governor, trustee of the proposed University of Georgia physician Nathan Brownson became governor of Georgia in 1781, serving until January 1782. Prior to this time, Brownson served as a member of the Provincial Congress, which met in Savannah July 4, 1775. He was also a delegate to the Continental Congress from 1776 to 1778 and was a surgeon to a Georgia brigade. Born in Connecticut in 1742, a graduate of Yale College, Brownson studied medicine and practiced that profession in his home state, moving to St. John's Parish, now Liberty County, Georgia in 1764. Active in the cause of liberty, Brownson became one of the leaders in the revolutionary cause. He was one of the delegates to the state convention that ratified the U.S. Constitution in Augusta on 31st December 1787. Nathan Brownson died in Liberty County October 18, 1796, being best remembered as a governor and as one of the founders of the University of Georgia. Dr. Lyman Hall. Dr. Lyman Hall was a
My
Georgia
kids go to
signer
that
of the
school, Lyman
Declaration
Hall.
of Independence. He represented St. John's Parish in the Continental Congress and was a delegate from Georgia to the Second Continental Congress meeting in Philadelphia. He was a founder of Sunbury, and as a governor of Georgia, 1783 to 1784, he gave strong support to education and religion. He was instrumental in obtaining the grant of land, which led to the establishment of the University of Georgia. Born in Wallingford, Connecticut, April 12, 1724, Dr. Hall moved to St. John's Parish, where he purchased the plantation known as Hall's Knoll. He became a leading physician, planter, patriot, and was active in mercantile and shipping circles in Sunbury. Dr. Hall died in 1790 and was buried on his plantation at Shell Bluff Landing in Burke County. In 1848, his remains were reinterred in Augusta beneath the granite obelisk, the Signers Monument. All right, so this one is Button Gwinnett. And this St. John's Parish, now Liberty County, lived Button Gwinnett, signer of the Declaration of Independence, member of the Continental Congress, Speaker of the Assembly, and President of the Executive Council. He also was a member of the convention that met in Savannah in October 1776, in which he played a prominent part in drafting the first constitution of the state of Georgia. Born in Gloucestershire, England, I know I probably messed that up, in 1735, son of a Church of England vicar, Button Gwinnett came to Georgia in 1765 and acquired a store in Savannah. He shortly purchased St. Catherine's Island. In this parish, he moved to the island at once and engaged in farming and cattle raising. His business was transacted in Sunbury, then a thriving port. On May 16, 1777, Mr. Gwinnett was mortally wounded in a duel fought on the outskirts of Savannah with General Lachlan McIntosh. Dying on May 19th, Mr. Gwinnett's grave is supposedly in Savannah, but its exact location is unknown and unmarked. One of his rare autographs sold for over $50,000, y'all. So right now, I'm crossing the street to get to the
Look at that
cemetery
wall.
where Dr.
Yeah.
Reverend Charles Colcott Jones rests in peace at. So it's pretty cool. Here's the entrance.
I be visiting gravesites, Joe. I'm
And
telling
all
you,
of
I be
these right
finding
here.
interesting people out there, and I just be like, I'm just gonna visit their grave. You know what I'm saying?
What's that monument in the middle? Jesus.
That's I'll be doing a video on that. That's one of the people, Fort General Stewart, I think that's his name. If I'm not mistaken.
Got himself
The
an
post is-
obelisk, huh?
Yeah, the post is named after him. I think that's Stewart. I'm not sure.
Yeah, obelisks are like for generals and stuff, you know, leaders or militaristic leaders or something. Is what I read about Egyptian lore.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Reverend Colcott Jones. I can't remember exactly
conquering.
where he was at.
This is before I had the Meta glasses and my gimbal. See, I done upgraded with equipment, so I got better equipment now.
Hell yeah, you do. Look at that. It's nice and clear. 4K, baby.
Yeah, the camera is, yeah, but I'm talking about I got a gimbal now. And I got
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I got a
Nice.
gimbal and
Let me see, it was somewhere
I got
over
those
here.
Meta
It's a little
glasses.
bouncy in this picture, right?
Yeah.
There
We're
we go.
bouncing
Yeah.
around.
It was over here.
So the gimbal will keep it nice and steady.
Yep, that's why I got it.
So right here.
That's his gravesite right there,
is
Charles
Reverend
Colcott Jones.
Colcott Jones.
I try to read what's on it, man, but I have
Yeah,
to click.
you're gonna have to do what they call is you have to get rice paper and then you have to use chalk or something to read it off of the rice paper. You have to go over it with a special type of
Mhm.
charcoal, and then read it off of that. But reading right off the cement is so difficult, you
Yeah, I
know.
wasn't even gonna try.
Yeah,
But yeah,
there are people that specialize in that, and they come out of the university and they do like I forgot what the name is what they do because it is an expertise. It
yeah.
is an actual expertise, and you get that education from the university in that expertise to do the chalk of each of the grave sites actually, and then they get recorded too, and it gets put into the archives. Each of because sometimes grave sites get vandalized or destroyed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so they record it in historical archives, and they make sure they maintain them like that.
Yeah. So yeah, that was the book right there. That's what I learned. There wasn't that much in there really. I mean, on the book, of course. Uh, I like to give snippets and review it. There's a lot. I could tell you, man, I enjoyed the book, um, because of the simple fact that I've got to learn who the person was who was responsible for
I was
bringing
looking up if he
Christianity.
was a Freemason, and it says there's no proof of that at all. But his son went to Harvard University. He was the one who wrote a bunch of laws and bylaws and stuff like that. And what disturbs me more is that he had children, right? And you're not born racist. You teach racism.
Mhm.
So, what did he teach his children? What did his children teach his children? And what those children teach his children?
Well,
And what do we have today?
I would
Are
just assume I would have just assumed that he taught them that slavery is okay, but the treatment of the people is not. That because that's really why he did what he did was because he didn't feel like the treatment of the people was right.
Yeah, but people are free-willed, free-minded.
Yeah.
They're not gonna be like, they're not gonna follow. Some people don't follow through their father's footsteps. They have their own mental, like they follow. Let's say, for instance, they not only read their father's book, but they also read other people's, and they go into other groups too. Like there's a white supremacist group, so they
Yeah.
might have a bunch of books there, and they might end up, being indoctrinated into other people's beliefs. So they might mix their father's beliefs with their other beliefs, and then right there, they might eliminate what their father taught them to treat black people correctly. Instead, now they treat black people incorrectly. It's kind of like it could be the other way around. We don't know how people will change throughout time. We could assume they will adopt their father's beliefs like it's a religion, but they may not. So we can't just rely on just their grandfather. You know, we have a serious problem today, and I think so. I think people see it too, and there is groups of people out there that believe that slavery should return, and that's alarming. That's really
Yeah.
alarming to
Yeah.
me. It is.
Yeah. Me too. Me
So,
too.
I think it's important for us to have this podcast. Why should we bring this up? Some people are like, "Oh my gosh, why you even uh throwing shade on this,
Yes.
why are you even talking about this guy? Why you even, because knowledge is power, and that's what we talk about on this podcast all the time. We need to understand where the information is coming from and where it's deep rooted from, and this is the roots from the tree where it comes from. Once we learn, and this is what we talked about, and these type of people, they talked about how ignorant we are. They laugh at us, how
Mhm.
ignorant we are, as minorities. Well, this is not being ignorant. This is about being smart and intelligent and learning about how they build laws, create laws, and they do it behind the scenes, and we don't know about them. We don't know
Yeah.
about this. They gain a pedestal. They get into government, and they build these laws, and they pass them through Congress, and 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 then some people say this is like, this is the swamp. I don't know what swamp they're talking about, but I think everybody has some kind of swamp going on back there. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? It's not just
yeah.
a certain political party. I think everybody is doing some kind of backroom dealing. And this is absolutely dangerous for the black culture, for the Hispanic culture right now, more so for the Hispanic culture because they're deporting anybody that looks like my color right now. I'm walking the streets. I
Not for
might
not not
be
for
pulled
nothing,
in.
bro. Not for nothing. I gotta bring something up about that. Stereotypes and all this other stuff is not just white people. I always speak about this. I think people are just ignorant. There are ignorant people. I don't care what skin color they are. My wife just came back from New York. She was in New York, and a black dude stopped her and asked her if she was a citizen. Now she's a veteran also. She was in the military. She's a school teacher. She got her master's. You know what I mean?
I thank her for her service.
You know what I'm saying? So, and she's in one of the D9. So just to sit here and just to know that people say things, I just think they're just ignorant people out there. Like I said when I was talking about Helen of Troy, there are people literally fighting over a fictional story. Well, I'm not gonna say a fictional story, a fictional character. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, come on, man. What are like I said, if you're going to say that she's white armed and that she's white because it says white armed and fair, then that just tells me that as a historian, if you believe that, and I'm going to go with your thoughts, then the Sumerians were people because they were known as the black-headed people. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You can't have your cake and eat it too because today ain't
Yeah,
your
I
birthday.
mean, shoot, man. I mean, it is what it is, man. It's Africa, you know.
Yeah, but I, like I said, man, I have a lot of ideas and theories, and I'll go on them in the future.
I mean, yeah,
Um,
I mean, the coastlines of Africa were inhabited by other people too, from other countries.
yeah,
That's
that's what I'm
that's
saying.
called trade.
There's
Merchants
been,
traveling around.
yeah,
They liked the environment. They loved the air, the weather. It was dry in certain areas. It was too wet and humid. I mean, come on, go to England. Go to Ireland. I mean, sometimes it's beautiful at certain times of the month, but out of the whole year, you don't want to be there for a freaking what is it, 10 months out of the year. It's horrifying. It's like to live in a gray area. It's like gray skies every single day. Or good example, Russia. Forgive me to all the Russians out there, you know but once a Russian travels to Miami Beach, they're like, I'm not leaving. And we have Russians in Miami Beach, lots of them too. Once they leave Russia, they're going to be American citizens. That's what their goal is. They stay because they don't want to go back to that dreary country that they were at. They want to be in the nice sunny skies and beautiful environment. I don't blame them. I don't
yeah.
blame
So
them. So
I guess,
if they travel to Africa, it's a beautiful location, beautiful skies. And on the coastlines, most of all, you're going to see a mix of people. And that's
yeah,
going to be normal.
yeah, yeah. Where trade is, of course, you'll see a lot of mixed people in where trade is. A lot of people
You
don't know
know,
that. That's where you
coastal
find
people,
most of your trade.
yeah,
That's where
yeah.
you find most.
Coastal people are more respectable than interior people. You know
Yeah, because
why?
they see different people come and go.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a
Mm,
mixture of people. You have to
mm,
be respectful because
yeah.
you got to learn how to communicate and live together on the
Hmm.
coastline. But people that are from the interior are like, what you doing here? You don't
Yeah.
belong here. I'm like, hell no, I don't belong here. I'm sorry, I'll just go back.
Yeah,
you
you're
know,
right.
I
No,
don't
but
want
you're
to
right.
die.
But that's interesting because I actually have what's called the Green Book. It's two Green Books that I have. One from Gaddafi, and then one on sundown towns, and I'll talk about that in the future too. So
Yeah, yeah, he changed this country a lot, Gaddafi. So
yeah, so what we'll do is we'll get ready to end it then. The next book is the Ubadian book, so that's a lot of tabs in that book. So that might take like 2.5 hours. So when we do that one, we're going to just have to stick with the tabs. I'm just going to.
I hope everybody here enjoyed this podcast. This is a very difficult podcast to deal with, to swallow, both all the cultures around the world to deal with. I appreciate everybody watching this podcast because it was tough for me. to swallow. I did not want to do this because of dealing with slavery and the imagination of how someone treats a human being was just, it just made my stomach turn so hard. And it's one of the toughest for me to do. So I mean, I have black friends, and I have I mean, I don't even want to think about it. There's a PTSD inside that, and I suffer from PTSD, but there's a PTSD within the black community that is passed on through cultural beliefs, and they suffer through it. And just recently, there's a white person that has been jailed for using the N-word out on the streets, and that is on social media just to gain followers and likes and all that stuff. And it was the most horrific thing I ever seen, that the person said it was freedom of speech. And, you know, you could see within the black community, the PTSD is real cultural. It's like PTSD passed down through culture, you know, the suffering is continuous within the culture of black Americans. And I don't say African Americans because they're not African anymore. They're black Americans, and
that's
they are born and raised
thing.
here.
That's another thing that we'll talk about in the future, in the New Future book. Black Americans some of them don't consider themselves African because they don't have no lineage to Africa at all.
I mean, they're historically,
just like everybody. But yeah. I'll be going over that.
But it's a free country, man. People can say I'm African, you know. They can say it if they want. But I just wanted to be focused on, you were born here on American soil. You're an American, and you're a black American. That's period. Right now, reality sets in. At this moment of time, you are a black American if you're born in America. If you're from Africa and you're born and you come to this country, you're an African American. If you just became an American citizen. Yeah. So if you're born here, then you're a black. I mean, that's what I believe in. So, but hey, it's freedom of speech. Even if you're African American and you get your citizenship, you can call yourself a black American. So, I mean, who cares, right?
Right. But yeah, that's the end of the show right there. We're going to end it out. Any last words?
I just love everybody. I just love everybody, man.
Stig says, thanks for Jason Jackson for the
Stig, thank you so much for coming around. You're amazing, brother. I thank you so much for listening. You know, Stig is a comedian. He's a comedian out in California. He's the best. So you ever get a chance to see him?
He's the man that talks about Atlantis. Don't forget the most
see his show.
Part. He's the only guy that's been to Atlantis 3 different times. So he's the man that goes do that. This guy right here.
Not only that, he's boots on the ground researcher on Atlantis. Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to be in contact in the desert this weekend. He's going to try to hit up George Norrie. Think he should try to get us some people to interview some podcasts. Let's make this happen, man. Make some connects out there.
Yeah, he does. His main thing is he has a showing in desert this weekend.
Yeah,
Contact in the desert. That's what it is. Contact in the desert is where he's going to be at. So if you guys are interested, and you're out on the West Coast, go to Contact in the Desert this weekend, and you will find Stig. Stig has all the lowdown. In fact, he was even detained or arrested in Africa for researching on Atlantis in certain area, believing that Atlantis was actually in Africa when the continent itself supposedly sank or disappeared. So
snippet that, Stig. Use that for your introduction.
But Stig can tell you all about it.
Yeah, he'll tell you all about it. So until next time, everybody, knowledge is power.
Got a little hype now, can I let it die down? I remember days in the trench. Time to go hard in, time to go all in, time to get my all to this shit. Panamera maxed out, first class flights out Atlantic to Pacific, yeah, it's lit.
All right, bro.